And Solano is going to step up. Base hit! And this game is over! And he drives it into right center field, hit a ton. This baby is way back! Out of
here! What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Humm Baby Baseball channel, and today we're talking about the San Francisco Giants, and I'm continuing my series on grading the 2019 Giants. Already done the outfield, already done the infield. Later going to do the rotation, then the bullpen. But today it's the bench. We're going to talk about some of those position players who were not normally in the starting lineup. And let's get going. In these videos, I am going to grade people based on expectations, not necessarily just complete overall performance, basing them on, the best players in the game. It's just based on what you would expect from this guy, what we want this guy to produce, how did he produce, and going to grade accordingly. Now, if we want to start with backup catcher, unfortunately, I don't know who the backup catcher will be in 2020 because Stephen Vogt, who was the backup pitcher in 2019, has signed with the D-backs. So he will be catching Madison Bumgarner over there in Phoenix. So unfortunately, he won't be with the Giants next year, but congratulations to him on that contract. And he did have a nice 2019. Probably would have given him a B or a B+. Now, one guy who I am going to grade and I'm going to talk about is also not going to probably be with the Giants next year, and that's Pablo Sandoval, who's a free agent, and he's also injured. But you know what? This guy is such a longtime Giant. He is such a legend here in San Francisco that I feel like we got to talk about him, give him a grade, talk about his 2019, because it actually was pretty special. He really tore it up in the first half, and it was really fun to watch. And that was during that time when we were kind of unsure who was going to be playing every day, who was going to be our left fielder. We were running through a bunch of guys. We were bringing Connor Joe. We were bringing in Michael Reed. We were bringing up Mac Williamson. We were bringing up Mike Gerber. We were bringing up all these guys, trying to figure out who is going to be our guys out there, who are going to be our everyday players. It was just a lot of experimentation during that first half, and it was very frustrating for a lot of fans, myself included, but there was one guy who we didn't have to worry about because he was just straight hitting, and that was Pablo Sandoval. He was just tearing it up in the first half during this period of time before we finally found Mike Yastrzemski and Alex Dickerson and finally found some guys who actually produced out there. During the first half, he hit .288 with 11 home runs, even though he only started 36 games, which is actually incredible that he only started 36 games and hit 11 home runs. He did slow down in the second half, and he ended the season with a .268 average, 14 bombs, but overall a great season for Pablo. You can't really ask for more than what he did, especially in that first half. But this was a guy coming from the Red Sox in 2017. It basically damaged goods. The Red Sox were like, take this fat guy. We don't want him. He's horrible. Just take him. We'll pay his salary. Just take him. Giants said, hey, this is a legend over here. Fans are going to be happy. And hey, maybe he'll start to hit again. Come on back, big guy. And he starts to hit again almost immediately, but especially in 2019, especially in the first half. And like I said, he slowed down in the second half, had some injuries, finished the season early, had that last moment where I believe he grounded out. But overall, just a really fun season, and based on expectations, again, a guy who's damaged goods 2 years ago, it looks like his career might be over, and here we are 2 years later, and he's coming out and having a first half like that. So I'm sorry, I got to give him a good grade because of the slow second half, because of the injuries. I guess I'll drop it down a little bit, but I think that Pablo deserves a very nice grade for what he did in 2019. I'm going to give him a solid B+. Next up, Donovan Solano. What can you say, man? I don't think this guy gets enough credit. I surely don't. This dude hit .330, not .301, not .310, .330, and it was not a tiny sample size. In 215 at-bats, almost half a season of at-bats, he did nothing but hit. 71 hits, a bunch of big RBI moments, at least one game-winning hit that I can recall, a couple big home runs in some clutch moments. This is a dude who hadn't played in the big leagues in 3 years. Giants bring him over from the Dodgers. Farhan Zaidi probably brings him over because he knows him, and he's like, hey, this dude can hit. He really hit well with the Dodgers in the minor leagues in 2018. So they bring him over, give him a shot, send him to Sacramento. He absolutely tears it up. Finally, the Giants say, okay, let's give this guy an opportunity here. So they let go Solarte, who wasn't hitting. They bring over this guy, Solano. They bring him up to the big leagues, and he just tears it up. What can you say? What are the expectations of someone who hadn't played in the big leagues in 3 years, who's coming in to be a role player, coming off the bench, replacing a guy like Solarte who made the team out of spring training? Well, what do you expect from him? You probably expect about a 250 average, decent defense, a couple hits here and there. The dude hits 330. 330. That's freaking Wade Boggs territory. That's Tony Gwynn territory. I'm not saying he would do that over a 500, 600 at-bat season, or that he could do it season after season, but we're not talking about that. We're grading him based on his 2019 performance. I got to give him an A+. I don't see any other way. What do you want from him? You want him to hit 400? A+. And the last guy I'm going to give an official grade to, because he had enough playing time to merit a grade, would be Austin Slater, who also played most of the season with the River Cats, and he hit really well. He hit about 307 down there in Sacramento. Giants bring him up, and he actually does pretty well. He starts hitting the ball well right off the bat. Now, he supposedly had a totally revamped swing, and he did have a revamped swing, because I noticed it when he was with the River Cats. It was subtle, and also his swing. I could see that he changed his swing. He revamped his swing, and he was hitting the ball well. They brought him up, and he was hitting the ball well, really well, up in the big leagues for a while. But then he slowed down. That last month of the year, couldn't hit nothing. He hit around 114 that last month, but I did check out some splits, and I found it interesting that he hit a lot better on the road. In 2019, he had a 307 batting average, 391 on-base percentage on the road. At Oracle Park, he hit 134. And actually, in his entire career, he has a 277 batting average on the road with 7 home runs, while at home, he's hitting around 220 with 2 home runs. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's just more comfortable on the road. He doesn't like hitting at Oracle Park. I don't know what that means. I'm going to imagine that 2020 is probably going to be his last year in the Giants organization, unless he just finally figures it out and becomes a big league hitter, because he's had several years. He's been a prospect forever. And, I like the guy. I really do like Austin Slater. And I think he's always decent. You got to be more than decent to get a full-time big league job. So we'll see how that works out for him. Overall, his 2019 performance wasn't really much. I can't give him a very high grade. I'll give him a solid, not a very solid, but I'll give him a C+. Couple other names I'll throw out, but I'm not going to grade them. They just didn't have enough at-bats to merit a grade. But Chris Shaw. Chris Shaw's a guy I liked for a long time. I love his power. I want to see what he can do over a full season, but I have a feeling it would just be, your typical high strikeout, quite a bit of home runs, very low batting average, and I don't know if that's what the Giants are looking for. But Chris Shaw, 2020 might also be his last chance to show that he can do something at the big league level. The other guy I want to say a quick word on is Jaylin Davis, who came over to the Giants in that trade from the Twins. They sent over Dyson to the Twins. They picked up this guy, and he went down to AAA with the River Cats and hit 333 after hitting 331 with Rochester. So this guy tore up AAA. He hit a bunch of home runs, about 25 home runs in AAA. Giants promote him, give him a shot. In 42 at-bats, he had 7 hits, hit a home run, but that's only a 167 batting average, but very limited time. I'd like to see what this guy can do. Definitely want to give him a bigger sample size in 2020. So hopefully Jaylin Davis has something to offer in the future, because this guy has pop and he really hits well in AAA. Needs more opportunities, needs more at-bats at the big league level. So that's my thoughts on the bench in 2019, and gave a few grades out to the guys who had enough at-bats to merit a grade. I don't feel like if you only had 10 or 20 at-bats, I'm going to give you a grade. But pretty good. I mean, overall, the bench was pretty good. Sandoval, Solano, these guys did all right. So we'll see next year what happens, because most of them, Sandoval won't be back, but Solano is supposed to be back. Alex Dickerson's coming back. He might be a bench bat as well next year. I talked about him in my starting outfield video, so we'll see how that works out too, because he is a really solid bat. So pretty excited about the bench going forward. We'll see how it works out next year. Tell me your thoughts on these guys. What do you think about them in 2019? What do you think about the bench in 2020? Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I appreciate it so much. Have a fantastic day. Check out the links in the description. I got links to my website, humbabybaseball.com. I got a link to my Twitter. I got a link to my Patreon if you want to give back to the channel. Help me grow Hum Baby Baseball. That would be greatly appreciated, and you will get special content for you. So anyway, thanks again, everybody. Have a fantastic day. Happy holidays, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya! When the Giants come to town, it's bye-bye, baby. Every time the chips are down, it's bye-bye, baby. History's in the making at